Let's talk about the top 10 class issues in the UK according to the Big State School Survey by the 93% Project. I'm Dr. Anna Kalshma. I research the unwritten rules of work for the working class and neurodivergence. I'm American based, but I'll be in the UK a lot and then fall and spring. So some people have been sending me these reports in preparation. One is the cost issue. No surprise there that state school attendees usually have to work jobs while they are in school. This is more than an economic disadvantage. It also keeps them from networking and building their social capital, which serves their careers later. Two, attending a prestigious institution like a Russell Group University does not necessarily equate to a more positive or fulfilling experience for student respondents, particularly those from working class backgrounds. Nearly half of the working class students have considered dropping out. 94% believe university culture caters to the wealthy, 60% have faced classist jokes, and 71% among Northern students. This is consistent with what we've seen in the US too. Just because they let you in doesn't mean that you're not expected to play by their rules, even if the rules don't make sense. Also, you're never taught the rules. You're just supposed to know them. That's how I ended up doing a dissertation on the unwritten rules of work. Three, deep-rooted shame causes state-educated students and professionals to go through severance of the self, with this being most acutely felt by those from working-class backgrounds. 81% of students reported making at least one change to their identity while at school, and it eroded their sense of identity. When you try to blend in, you can lose pieces of yourself. In the US, at least, this can be a big identity conflict because there is a pressure to keep your working-class identity, and that is usually what people are most comfortable with is their first-class identity. Four, caught between two worlds, too common for where you're going, too posh for where you've come from. I have a research paper on this. I interviewed white dudes who had moved up from a low income background to a high one through employment, and they talked about navigating two worlds, the bougie one and the working class one, and that now they didn't really fit into either. Five, one size does not fit all when it comes to employer outreach events. People from working class backgrounds are much more likely to feel out of place at employer events, with 82% citing socioeconomic reasons for their discomfort. This includes a cost barrier to access, but I can tell you it also includes other things, like knowing what's appropriate to wear, what you're allowed to talk about, how you're allowed to talk about it, and it takes a lot of energy. This study found that 56% of these people left these events early. 50% said they chose not to apply to a certain employer due to a negative interaction that they had with someone who was a representative of that company who had judgmental views about people from a low-income background. Employers, you're limiting your applicant pool. Six, lip service paid to banning unpaid internships does not match the reality. Don't get me started on this in the US. Literally, the last presidential administration was the first to pay people for interning in the White House. And the Hill, the Capitol Hill with Congress, is notoriously low paid. Most people who intern there are exceptionally wealthy because you cannot live in DC on what they pay you. Seven, passion is a privilege. Respondents talk about picking jobs based on their socioeconomic background. Almost half of working class women were told that they're too ambitious and that they should temper them. 86% of these students avoided certain roles because the pay was too low or it's unstable. I relate to that. That's part of why I didn't go into academia. 5 years of pre-tenure to just have to leave if my peers don't like me and there's no real tangible criteria for deciding that? Yeah, no, that's unstable as hell. Eight, once through the door, state-educated employees, particularly women from working class backgrounds, operate with the fear of losing their jobs looming over them, affecting their ability to work in a way that would be beneficial to the career progression or overall well-being. There's also a lot more harassment of working class women, particularly women of color, because the bosses know they need the job and they're less likely to report. It's abusive AF. 9, classism as a form of discrimination is alive and well. 88% of professionals from working class backgrounds witness colleagues or decision makers using the school that a person went to build professional relationships. 86% witness senior leaders hiring or promoting individuals who resemble themselves, reinforcing cultural and class homogeneity at senior levels. And 66% reported being mocked at work because of their background, rising to 74% among working class individuals and 83% among those from northern regions in particular. This happens in the US as well with different accents. We started to see last year a pull away from some places preferencing Ivy League grads. I think there was a Wall Street Journal article that talked about how like 80% of them graduate with A's. So employers were like, what's the distinguishing factors here? Like, do the grades really mean anything? And again, back to interdependence, they noticed people from other universities, public universities, were able to work together better and be around people who were different from them. Doesn't mean all Ivy Leaguers. I've worked with 2 elite schools, but there are skills that we miss when we only focus on one group, including one class. And 10, despite the challenges faced by those from working class backgrounds, 99% would choose the same path again, driven by the hope to build a better future for themselves and the next generation. I think that also ties to the interdependence of it's not only about you, it's about your family, future and past or present. Overall, I found this report very interesting and excited to learn about the 93% Club. If you are in the UK or have been around there and have suggestions of where I can learn more about y'all's class system, hit me up. And I'll be in the area a lot. Plan on being in the EU too. If there's enough interest, I might set up a little event myself.